Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It's Friday night, and we're going to create some art. Hopefully, you guys had a great week, and are looking forward to the weekend. And you guys are excited about the weekend as I am. I think it's going to be great. But tonight, I hope you're ready to create some art because I sure am myself. I sounded really confident there. But now, so what are we working on tonight? Earlier in the week, I tried to do. A watercolor, I guess portrait, but more like like the more figure study than just like the face or whatever, which is what I'm usually doing. I'm usually just doing a face when I do portraits. So I've been trying to do like a full body kind of like to get some of that figure study stuff in there, just to progress as an artist. I'm still working on my skill set. So if it's okay with you guys, I thought I'd continue with that. Sorry, I keep blinking. I got something stuck in my eye just now. I think it's an eyelash. But anyway, so I think I'm going to continue with the watercolor stuff, and I think I'm going to draw like or paint a like a body essentially. So if that's cool with you guys, hopefully it is because I don't have anything else prepared. I'm just going to jump right into it. As you can see, I've already sketched out a person here. It's a woman in a dress, kind of reclining on a couch. I figured this is a nice classic pose. So I'm just going to jump in and get started. Hopefully you guys will chat with me in the chat room. Looks like a couple of people in there. Radiance is in there. Pekka Jack's in there. So I'm just going to get started. The only colors I've got on my kind of like cheap dish palette is blue and white. And that's because I wanted to start with the eyes, which are kind of a mix of like a light blue and kind of like a darker blue on the other side. So I'm going to try to mix these things together. I don't know how it's going to go. Like I mentioned Tuesday when I did my last one, watercolor is not really my strong suit, and doing like a full body and stuff, that's not really my strong suit either. So yeah, so I'm double screwed here, but that's okay. I think we can. I think we'll push through, guys. We usually make things work, so it's gonna be great. Oh, it's okay, Radiance. Um, I kind of have an open door policy here. I'm gonna do the pictures regardless of if anybody shows up. So I don't think anybody should ever feel guilty if they miss one. I kind of reserve the right to miss one myself. If a Friday comes around and I'm like, I just don't feel like doing art, I may just not schedule one. Um, the problem is here in town they have this thing called a gallery hop, where they kind of open up all the galleries around here and like serve wine and cheese and stuff and invite everybody to come and visit. They're trying to get you to buy something, but it's nice to go to those gallery hops and just see what's out there, see what other artists are doing. The problem is it's always on a Friday. I think it's the last Friday of the month. I don't think it's the first Friday because that would be today. But I think I might go to the next one. So I might actually skip one of these Friday streams if that's okay with you guys. I'll try to make up for it later in the week or earlier in the week, I guess. So I'm just starting with the eyes. So I put all this like blue paint down, but really that's all the blue that's going to be in this. She's basically like unless I want to do like the wall blue. I don't know. I'll decide that later. I'm going to focus on her because like there's limited time and I always seem to run out. Hey, Larry, how's it going? Hopefully you guys had a great week. I know I did. Yeah, better than most. I got a lot accomplished. I've been working on trying to be more productive, less lazy, getting things done. Kind of worked out a nice system using like just Google tools and stuff for like logging all my tasks and like my calendar and schedule and stuff like that. And I'm pretty happy because that's been working out. All right, so now I'm gonna go in and try to like put down some like base skin tone. Oh, you might notice I always have like a paper towel in my hand whenever working with watercolor, just because you never know when you need to blot something out or whatever. But I'm just gonna get started throwing in some skin tone. Oh, you broke your toe? That sucks, man. Or woman. That sucks, person. Oh, I hate that. I've broken my toe 2 times. I've broken my finger once. I've broken my leg twice. It's not fun. This was all like when I was a teenager. I learned my lesson. I haven't, well, I don't want to say that I haven't broken anything as an adult because I don't want to jinx myself. So just throwing down some skin tone here. I'm not really worried about like, shadows and highlights at this point because, well, you guys have seen me work before. That stuff all comes later. Just want some color to deal with. I should mention, like when we're working with watercolor, the general rule that people say is that you should really work from light to dark, just because watercolor is like a transparent medium. But I kind of ignore that anyway because like I also use gouache with my watercolors, in which case like I reserve the right to start with dark. But I'm just in the habit of going light to dark though. I think that's fine. Not a great summer so far. Nope, not if you're breaking things. Hopefully you have like a nice adventure story to go with it. Like seems to hurt less when it comes with a good story. I don't know. That's my Hey, Ben's in here too. Hey Ben. So once those eyes dry, I'll go ahead and add some detail to that because like I know it's creepy just looking at two like blue dots on the screen. That's kind of weird. I'm not intentionally trying to freak you guys out. I know Marble was in here Tuesday. She's like, that's gonna give me nightmares, which I thought was funny. I feel like I'm losing my voice too. Does it sound like? Yeah, I think it sounds like I'm losing my voice. I've been in meetings all week talking to a bunch of people and stuff like that. That always causes me to, because outside of these streams, since I work from home, I don't really interact with people verbally that much. So I tend to start losing my voice when I talk too much. So like the light's coming down this way, so most of this is going to be like light. So I'm just going to kind of leave that white. And then maybe I'll come in and, well, maybe I'll add a little bit, just a little bit. Really water that out. Because you can always lift stuff out if you're not happy with it. Make that really wet. Happy Friday, kid. Kid wanted that raccoon I did a little while back, so I sent it to her. She's got the perfect frame for it. It's awesome. Trash panda, she calls it, which I think is brilliant. So you can't really see it, but skin tone. It's basically what's going on here. So this is all hair, this is all hair, this is all dress, couch. Just to kind of orientate you guys. So I ask every Friday, and I hope you guys have good answers and prepare for this because, like, I'm gonna ask, like, any weekend plans? I need you guys to give me ideas. It's been so hot lately. I haven't really wanted to do much outdoors, but it's kind of cooled down a little bit. So I think I might go kayaking. Um, I've mentioned before that's kind of like my exercise. I like to go hiking and I like to go kayaking, but whenever I go hiking, it's usually like I don't know, like spring and fall and stuff. I don't usually go for like big hikes during the summer. It's just too hot. I love this early part where the like painting just looks ugly. Oh, you're going to the beach. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a good way to beat the heat. I do like watercolor. Like I don't know why I don't do it more often. Every time I do it, I'm like, oh, this is so fun to do. I think I'm scared of painting. I think that's what it is. I don't do it because it intimidates me, which is again odd because I enjoy it every time, and most times things turn out all right. Like sometimes they don't. I don't know. What I need to do is do more of these like outside of a stream because then I wouldn't be so worried about it. Like part of the intimidation is like, hey, I'm on a live stream in front of like other people and doing something I'm not very comfortable with. So there's like a highlight on her shoulder, so I'm gonna leave that mostly white. Just gonna let the paper show through, I think. And again, I'm not really worried about any of this right now because I can always add more, take some away. It's not set in stone. It's not like it's in ink or anything like that. The paper might be stained a little bit, but it's still like you can still manipulate it a bit. I think I'm just gonna kind of cover these bits up, and then like can always come back with white later. It's just a weird process because I'm used to drawing and then adding shadows and lifting stuff up to create highlights. It's a little strange. So I think the hairline is around here. I think that's pretty good. All right, so I feel like that's a good enough start for that. So I am going to start. So I made the mistake last time of using black to do kind of like features around the eyes. I think I'm gonna, no, not that brown. I think I'm gonna use brown and black. So black for obviously for like eyelashes and pupils, and brown for like some of the, I don't know, like eye bag lines, things like that. Could probably go like blue too. So I'm just making like these little dabs on this thing because I know I'm not going to be using much for these features. Like the eyes are so small. Also, I am drinking bourbon tonight, so sorry. I don't make a lot of sense when I drink bourbon, but that's okay. It's part of my thing. All right, I had a small liner brush here. There we go. All right, so let's start with that. Let's water it down so that it's not so bad. There we go. All right. So this is so painful because like this is where I can screw up. I don't really have a steady hand. Okay, hold on. Let me move this out of the way. I gotta get a steady hand for this bit because this is like, there you go. I'm sorry if I ignore you guys for a moment. It's so hard to draw these fine lines with the paintbrush. I almost did it to my Whenever I'm drinking bourbon, I almost always like in painting and watercolor, I almost always go to paint dip the brush in the bourbon. That's no good. All right, get a little black pupil going. I think, yeah, so these things can double as these little mess ups. I can double as eyelashes, even though it's like super small. You can't see it on camera, but it's so intimidating. And then the other thing, like if you don't draw your lines right, your eyes won't be the right size. Like they have to be in proportion to each other. Yes, the bourbon. It's definitely a bourbon night for me. I hope I can draw this picture. Things look kind of blurry. I got into the bourbon before I started. It's been a good day. So the fun thing is people can watch this and maybe pick up some tips and, and tricks for like painting or drawing or whatever I'm doing. But also people can watch this to see, you know, how to actually create stuff while drinking because almost always like sometimes I don't know, sometimes I've only got like a cup of water or something like that. It's not always liquor. But I do enjoy the bourbons on the Friday nights. All right, so I think that's a good start there. Let me get some eyebrows going, and then I'll try to get some lines around the eyes. I think for that I'll need a little bit of pink as well. Such fine, small lines. It's tough. But if you take your time, you can do it. And that's kind of why I'm trying to knock this out first so that I can make progress on other parts without you guys looking at this weird face that isn't done. All right, so that's a good start, I think, on like the eyebrows. All right. Okay, so now she doesn't look so weird. Let me go ahead and get a quick mouth in there as well. Plus, I need some of that pink anyway for like face, like cheeks and things like that. So, um, you guys are one of you guys is going to the beach, going hiking. Oh, Niagara Falls, that's cool. It's not just anywhere. That sounds like fun. So I'm gonna do this in like really light pink because I'm gonna come back and add more detail to it later. What about any movies? Any movies opening up this weekend? I still haven't seen Oppenheimer or Barbie. I feel like I want to see start speaking in cursive. That's how I feel. Like I feel like I've been drinking more than I have today. But I don't know. You know, I feel like I can paint with a little bit of alcohol in my system. It's not the end of the world. All right, so now I feel like I'm okay with the fine line for now. So that's not her face isn't done, obviously. I'm gonna come back and add some features to it later, but I just wanted to get that down so that she didn't look so weird while I'm working on everything else. Mostly at this point, I'm more concerned about um, like skin tone and stuff like that. All the other stuff is kind of secondary. Um, I'm a big believer that your whatever is your primary focus, which in this case is her, um, kind of like supersedes everything else. So I can worry about like her dress and the chair and the wall later if I need to. So the other thing I've been practicing, let me put this back in camera now that I'm not doing like really weird uh, details. Yeah. So one of the other things I've been practicing is like mixing paints. So I've got a little bit of red here and a little bit of that kind of fleshy pink color. So I think that's what I'm gonna start her cheeks with. And what I like about this, the reason why I do this is because that kind of starts creating some form that I can use to figure out other things, right? So like if I put in like a, like a blushy cheek, it kind of lets me know where other things fall in. Like the one I started on Tuesday, I was actually working on it on Wednesday, and I was making changes throughout. So like it never like you're never done until you're done, right? So like at the end of the stream on Tuesday, I was like, I'm pretty happy with this. But then, you know, Wednesday morning I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, you know what? The eye's a little bit off, let me fix that. The nose is a little bit off, let me fix that. So that's what I like about watercolor. You can make those kind of changes. You know, nothing is really set in stone. You can dump water on it and kind of lift all of this pigment up. So I'm a fan of this watercolor stuff. I don't know why I don't use it more often. I guess I'm just more used to drawing, and you know, like with pencils and stuff like that. But I'm not opposed to watercolor. Watercolor's fun. And by watercolor, I really mean like the watercolor gouache combo. Like that's a winner. You got the transparent watercolor, and then you've got the see if I can do this without messing up my eyelashes here. Yeah. So the transparent watercolor with the opaque gouache, that's a really the winning combination. And then, you know, like if you're really stuck on trying to get like a lot of detail in there, you know, I would add some colored pencils to that stack of tools. And those three things really seal the deal. I used to also include ink, like where I would come in and maybe do like the eyes with the ink and stuff like that. But I'm over that. I don't like doing that. I like doing the fine brush stuff. All right, so got some facial tone going there. Um, so I'm not really cleaning my brush, by the way. I don't mind it having some of those colors from before. So it just kind of all mixes together. But at this point, I'm going to get like some really light brown and hopefully get some shadows in there without turning her into some weird, yeah. So I feel like all of this through here. And as it dries, I'll probably make this darker. But for now, I just kind of want to separate different parts of the body. Um, so like I have my pencil lines that I put in earlier to kind of guide me. But as you paint, you kind of lose some of that stuff. So I kind of want to let the paint do my guidelines for me. So even though this isn't the color that it's going to be, like it's going to be much darker, I kind of want to get this stuff in here so that I know the different body parts. Hey, thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. Hopefully I'm making sense too, because I don't feel like I make sense sometimes when I talk. Um, anyway, so what was I saying? I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah. Um, So like I like to use the paint to kind of guide like where all the different body parts are. So like I penciled in like the clavicle. Clavicles are really important when you're doing like a full like body. Less so if you're just doing the face, but if you're doing a full body or at least from the neck up and stuff, these are like really strong features that kind of help frame the rest of it. So like I always want to make sure that that kind of stuff is in there. And then as I paint, my pencil marks that I had put down might get covered up. So that's like the first thing I want to put back in because these features kind of let me figure out where everything else is, right? Sounds good though, right? Like, and some of the stuff I kind of make up as I'm like doing it, but it, you know, like it's not completely made up. This is actually how I work. It's just hard to articulate, you know? Like sometimes I just do something without realizing why I'm doing it, which is good. You know, like that's one of the benefits. Oh, hey Shelly, how's it going? So one of the benefits of doing like these live streams is it does get me to, it forces me to like articulate what I'm doing, which isn't always easy because like a lot of artists, including myself, just kind of just naturally do things. Just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna put a pencil down on the paper and see what happens, you know. And then if it screws up, you kind of respond to it and go from there. So having to actually explain what you're doing, it's not always easy. Cool. All right, so moving on to, again, some of this stuff is going to be darker, but I just kind of want to get things started here. So this bit here is going to be cast and shadow. I like saying that, cast and shadow. I think that's a Dungeons and Dragons spell. Yeah, I just kind of nerded myself out there. Outed myself as a nerd, but that's okay. I think it's cool to play Dungeons and Dragons nowadays. It's not as bad as it used to be. Awesome, Shelly. That's you got a deal. I bought some tickets today myself. If I win the lottery, you guys are going to see so many paintings, and you're going to see really good paintings because I'm going to have like all the proper supplies. I'm going to get a studio. It's going to be so awesome. They'll have like the best lighting in it. There'll be like a bunch of plants and stuff all over the place. You won't see like Christmas lights, the Christmas lights hung up or anything. Nah, it's going to be a proper studio. It's not going to double as my my office or anything. Yeah, that's actually a great thing to talk about this particular Friday. So like, I mean, the lottery is was it like 1 billion, something like that? It's a lot of money. It's like sometimes when you talk about winning the lottery, it's only like $1 million. And $1 million is great. Like $1 million to me would be life changing, but it's not always life changing, right? So like I'm still a fairly young man. So like $1 million, I couldn't even retire off of $1 million because I still have to generate more money. Um, but $1 billion, like you can buy yourself like a whole country with that, I think. I don't really know. I don't understand money. Apparently, you can use it to buy goods and services. But anywho, $1 billion. What would you guys spend $1 billion on? Like, what are your guys' lotto dreams here? I feel like you guys can come up with some good answers on that. I'd be disappointed if you guys phone it in and say, I don't know. I'll pay off my bills. It's $1 billion, guys. I would give 1 million to each of my subscribers. Oh shit! I shouldn't say that because what if I do win tonight? Now I'm kind of like, hey, you know what though? If I win that $1 billion tonight, we're gonna have a party, guys. You guys are all invited. We're gonna have a party, and if you can't make it because of like travel arrangements or something like that, you don't worry about it. Uncle Jeremy's got you. I'll take care of that. I'll make sure everybody has transportation to my party. We are gonna have so much fun. It's gonna be an art party too. Like, I'll buy the art supplies and we're all gonna like draw and paint stuff like while just getting drunk or whatever. Well, for the younger people, you guys can just hang out. We'll figure it out. We'll pay somebody to figure it out. That's a lot of money. You can get like a party planner to sort all this stuff out. You don't even have to think about it. An art teacher, a maid, and a gardener. That sounds like a party. That sounds like but that's all you need for a party, really. An art teacher, a gardener, and a maid. It's only 574 million. What? Okay, paying out. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I was like, I forgot how many subscribers I had. I thought you were saying that like the winnings were only 574. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see about it. Okay, we're gonna have a party though, for real. I tell you what, guys. All right, you guys got me in a good mood. If you're subscribed to this channel and I win the lottery tonight, I will pay each of you $10,000. If I win the jackpot, okay, not just some like stupid little Powerball or like a Mega Million yellow ball thing where I only get like, I don't know, like $5 or whatever. I can't pay you guys anything. But if I win the jackpot and you're subscribed to this channel, we'll work it out and you will get paid. But I have to win the jackpot. Crap. If I win the jackpot and you guys get paid, then you all know that I made all that money and you guys just gonna keep asking for more. You know how it is. Like when you win the lottery, all your relatives come out of the woodwork. You guys are just gonna keep wanting more, guys. Oh, buy Forrest's house? Oh, that's a given. I would buy his house. It's $1 billion, guys. I would buy his house as a vacation home. I wouldn't even live in it. I'd kick Shiloh out. That'd be fun. That would be fun to buy Forest South just to kick Shiloh out. I like Shiloh. I'm just joking. That would be hilarious though. So I want to darken up these eyebrows just a little bit to kind of create some contrast so that I know what shadow and whatnot. You know, I have been drinking. You guys are taking advantage of me, like making me commit to all these things while on air, and I can't backtrack. It's $1 billion though. Like Larry, like 574 million, yeah, but what's it after taxes now that I think about it? Like you guys would get me to like commit to that, and then like after taxes, I don't even have that to pay you guys. That'd be funny. That would kind of suck. Like I would lose money that way, I think. I don't really know. Again, how does money work? 5,740,000 payout. Yeah, I don't know what the take home pay is there. It's fun putting in these details. So did everybody in here buy a lottery ticket? Like we're all in this together, right? You guys win, I get money, right? Right? That's how it works. Don't stand me up. Like if you guys win and like I never see you again, that's not cool. Make sure you come back. Like we all get to chip in on this party. You still stop by to say hello. Well, thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'd still stop by to kind of rub in your face that I won all that money. Appreciate it, Larry. I see how it is. If I win, I'm throwing a party. If you win, you might stop by. I get it. I'm just joking, of course. I do think it's kind of cool though. Like that is life-changing money. That is like a lot of money, guys. Like I often think about it this way. So like, you know, you don't even know what kind of problems you would have with that kind of money. That's the kind of money that like if you want it, like your entire life is just completely different. Cool, Shelly. See, Shelly's much nicer than Larry. Shelly's gonna Shelly's gonna share. Larry's gonna stop by and say hi. So I think that's gonna dry lighter. So I don't mind putting that much red in here. I don't think. I hope. Do want a little bit. I mean, I said red, but I'm gonna call it pink. Oh, it's the time delay. Okay, that's fine. All right, so Larry's back in. He's gonna give us all money. That's what I'm hearing. Larry's back in, contributing to the party at least. I'm just gonna have Larry agree to a bunch of different things. Um, don't worry, Larry. You can get out of it if you want. But yeah, right, kid. That's the spirit. Let's just spread the money around. It's gonna be awesome. I tell you what. Here is a commitment. I am definitely absolutely clumsy. A commitment I am absolutely willing to make. 100%. You guys can hold me to this. If I win, I'm still going to do the streams. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the streams every week, even though I'm a freaking bazillionaires and I can hire real professional artists to do my work for me, I will come back and I will continue learning how to paint and share that with you guys. And it'll be awesome. And we'll have fun. And we're still going to have that party. And it's going to be a dog friendly party. Everybody can bring their dogs. It'll maybe be at like a dog park or something. I don't know. I'll buy a dog park. Buy a dog park. There we go. Can Larry make it rain? Didn't buy a ticket. Ah, Larry, you had one job. Just one job. Like when I bought the ticket, I got it at a gas station just because I don't know where people buy lottery tickets, but it does seem like every time somebody wins, it is the crappiest convenience store that they bought it at. It's like it's always in like a bad neighborhood and like run down. Like I feel like the gas station I bought it at, which I think was like Speedway, is a little too good for the type of people who win the lottery. So like when you win the lottery, it's not really the type of people that's the wrong thing to say. What I mean is the type of place that the people buy it at. It's always just this really crappy grocery store or something like that. I feel like I didn't buy it at the right place. That's my smaller brush. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get started on the hair. Now the hair is going to be the wrong color at first. So she's got blonde hair, but it's kind of like this tannish color. It's desaturated. So I'm gonna add a tiny little bit of yellow, even though I don't think I want to go too far with that. If I can squeeze it out. Oops. Yeah, too much. Yeah, okay, that's cool. So kind of like this cream color, I think. Yeah. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna add that, but again, don't focus too much on the hair color. Like last time, the last painting I did, the hair color was blue and it didn't stay blue. It went more like brownish black. So don't focus too much on this color right now because there's going to be some shadows to it and possibly some highlights done through the gouache. I just want to kind of get that started. How are we doing on time? Yeah. I'm trying to budget my time better this time, guys, so that we don't run out of time before the picture takes form. Yeah, painting part. Yeah. So one of us has to. So whoever wins has to buy Forest House, and then you got to buy some paints and some dogs, so that we can have a dog party at Forest House, Forest Old House, like Forest Old House. Yeah, I mean it's $1 billion, guys. You need to think a little bit bigger. Not just Forest House, but you can buy the old gallery. That was up for sale like a year ago. The Madut whatever that gallery is. You know what I'm saying? The old gallery that Forest used to own. That was up for sale, I think last year, and I think that they canceled the sale just because it wasn't the right climate or something like that. But I bet you if you go in there and you make them the right offer, $1 billion, they'll take you up on it. So that would be awesome to buy the old gallery and restore it. And I mean it's $1 billion, guys. Let's see, what else can we do? We could buy all the paintings, all the Nikolai Fechin paintings, all the J.H. Sharp paintings, all the Eric Sloan paintings. Could buy all those paintings and hang them back up at the gallery. Basically, restore it to the old times. It's gonna be awesome. This is gonna be great, guys. Hey, Rome, what's up? We're talking about what we would do if we win that big lottery payout. The funny thing is that this is recorded, so you hear me talk about how I'm going to spend all this money, and then like you'll come back and watch it on Monday, or somebody will come back and watch it on Monday and be like, "Ah, that guy didn't win." Gotta have faith, though, guys. You buy Rome Dog drawings? Yeah, I mean it's $1 billion. You can buy whatever you want. You can buy those drawings, and then buy your own private gallery to hang them in. Sky's the limit. Oh, that's cool. That's a powerful name for a dog. Zeus. Let's see. I want to use this liner real quick with some white gouache. So I'm going to put my white gouache over here so that I know. So that's a little bit of a tip. So I've got all my watercolors over here. Whenever I use gouache, because it is opaque, I put it off to the side. So I kind of put it there so that I kind of know that's where it is. Um, and I just wanted to grab some of those just because those eyes aren't as realistic as I want them to be yet. So I kind of want to grab that and then some of this blue, I think, because I want it to be like a real light blue, but also opaque. Ah, man, it is tough to drink and paint tiny little details. Yeah, that works. Cool. So you guys probably can't even see this, but when I put the picture up and you're able to zoom in, you're gonna be like, that's cool. 'Cause she's got really light blue eyes on this side, and on this side they're darker. So I just wanted to kind of do that real quick before coming in and working on some of these. And again, I'm not really cleaning my brush. I'm just dipping it really because like if some of that blue got into this brown, it's not the end of the world. I like it when things kind of mix up like that. I mean, maybe some people might care, but gonna clone Rome. Can't do that. Rome's one of a kind. I think one of my little um like stream sessions will be doing an eyeball like probably a lot bigger just to kind of like show how that's done in great detail. Because right now, like this is so small, you wouldn't even be able to see it. But for example, like like a lot of times, like if you're drawing a cartoon or whatever, you'll just draw like I don't know, like an eyeball shape. Jeez, can you guys hear that? My dog over here coughing up a lung. Anyway, you would just draw kind of like a football kind of shape in like black ink with black on top and black on the bottom and stuff. That's not really how eyeballs work. It takes a little bit more to it than that. So I think it would be kind of cool to do just like a very large eyeball just to show all the different details and stuff that you put in it. All right, so I think at this point I'm going to move on to some hair detail just to get that started. Actually, I did this the last time. So the last time I used this really fine brush for that. I think I'm going to move up to the slightly larger brush. I'm gonna get some more brown in this too. So instead of like drawing individual like shadows in the hair, I'm gonna try to add like a bunch of it at one time. Because that's the one thing I didn't like about my last painting. It looked kind of sketched when it came to the hair. All right, so get that going. And then add a little bit of black, I think. I gotta say, mixing paint colors is fun. Like I was concerned when I bought these paints. It's just a set of 24. My concern was like, oh, I didn't get all the colors I need, right? Nah, I'm getting better at mixing colors, so now I feel like it doesn't matter. Let hair go on there, right above the finger. It comes over around the back of the ear, front of the ear, I think. Here, yeah, it works. It's almost like a Barbie picture, actually, now that I think about it. Not intentionally, I didn't set out to draw Barbie. I do want to see that Barbie movie. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know. I just like to follow pop culture. So, like, if other people are watching the Barbie movie and they're talking about the Barbie movie, I kind of want to see the Barbie movie just so that I can participate in those conversations. Thanks, Radiance. I appreciate it. Again, I have been enjoying working in watercolor. I had no idea that I was going to enjoy it so much, but I do. All right. Now, all of this over here underneath the hand, it's going to be kind of a dark brown. So, I'm just carefully not covering up my thumb and following the contour of the face. Let's get all that. In fact, I can add more black to that. A lot of this painting stuff is just like doing things trepidatiously and then moving into like, the more confidence you've got, the more you like do the darker colors. So like you start off super concerned, like, oh, I don't want to screw this up with black. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, at some point I'm gonna watch it. It's just a debate on whether or not I'm gonna wait until it comes out on like streaming or something. I was gonna say DVD, but I haven't seen the DVD in forever. Anyway, again, it's like you start off a little wary with this black, but then once you figure things out, you feel more comfortable just dropping it down. Plus, it always dries lighter than you would think anyway. The brown going in there. That's fine. I'll come back over it with some highlights later. Okay, moving right along. I feel like this brown black can work in other areas. Like her armpit, for example, that's pretty dark. Important not to get carried away. You don't want it to look like she has like arm hair or armpit hair. Let's see, over here, same deal. Kind of messed up a little bit, I think, on one part. So her dress actually comes down. So her dress doesn't butt up against her arm. There's actually a little bit of skin tone that I neglected to put in. So like through here, this is actually skin. There you go. So I will work on that. Yay, this is fun. Yeah, Guinness and oh, Bear's your favorite? Cool. Yeah, Guinness and Bear are awesome dogs. They're sleeping right now. They're a handful though. Like they are definitely set in their ways. So like when it comes time for like a TREATS, they know it's time and they won't let me forget. Like if I'm watching a movie or something, I don't want to deal with it, they will not, like they'll get restless and start just being generally annoying until I get up and go get them, what they're used to. They are definitely creatures of habit. Oh, cool. All right. Let's see how we doing on time. Okay, cool. We're still under an hour. Let me start putting in some more details in various places. Kind of want this to be fine lines coming down out of the hair. Yeah, way too much water. Speaking of spacecrafts and Mars and stuff, you would have like not quite Elon Musk money, but you could do like some Elon Musk type stuff with $1 billion, guys. Like basically, if you've got some sort of like world problem that's like a cause of yours, like I don't know, whatever you're into, you could do a lot with that money to like solve that problem. Like one of my pet causes is actually pets, right? So like I feel like pets should be like taking care of like strays and stuff like that. Like you could start an animal sanctuary, like a serious animal sanctuary with that kind of money. Do some good in this world. Or you can have a party, which is what I'm gonna do. Do some social good or throw a party. That's a tough one. I'm gonna do both. Why not both, right? All right. So she has no nose yet. I just realized that. I need to I need to get a nose going here, guys. We're an hour in and she does not have a nose. So when doing the noses, I do them all kinds of different ways, but I found the one that I find works best is like if you start at the bottom of the nose, working with some shadows to get those in there. And then, you can kind of blend this out if it's too dark, which I think this is. If you start with some shadows at the bottom, then you can kind of build from there. So like, grab some more water. Try taking that up. Yeah, so that definitely gives her face some more dimension or form, I guess, is what I would be trying to say if I hadn't been drinking bourbon. Yeah, so I'm trying to get better at drawing noses. So my dad, he's he's a great guy, but he likes to criticize my drawings noses. I don't know why. So just to get him to shush. And he actually watches my show, so like at some point he's gonna come back and he's gonna hear me call him out. But anyway, he likes to criticize my drawings noses, so I'm going to take some extra special care here to draw a perfect nose just to mess with him. You might be watching right now, actually. Well, maybe not a perfect nose, but the best I can do. It's a good start. I'm not sure I'm happy with it yet. Travels with Charlie, John Steinbeck. Um, there was a blog by that name. There was a guy who did a like I think a podcast or something with his dog Charlie, and he did some on the Forrest Fenn thing. I remember that, but it was called Travels with Charlie. I have not read the John Steinbeck book. No, I read Of Mice and Men and Grapes of Wrath, but I'm not familiar with that one. Hey, Sticky Art, how's it going? We're practicing watercolor, which isn't really my strong suit, but giving it a go. Trying to do some more full body portraits instead of just doing faces like I often do. That's what we're working on tonight. It's good to see you again. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. All right. So I think that that's a good start on the nose. Not perfect. Let me move on to some other areas. It's just so weird drawing like almost completely with this fine brush. So I think I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna continue with that actually. Grab some of that. On the road with, oh, okay, so that's what it was. All right, so I might have been remembering that wrong. On the road with Charlie. It's a pretty good podcast, I think. I don't know, from what I recall. I like things like that, travel type podcasts and just basically travel blogging in general. Whether it's a podcast, whether it's like a blog, whether it's just a bunch of like Instagram photos. I love that kind of stuff. It inspires me to want to go out and hit the open road. I love a great American road trip. I'm one of the few people who actually enjoy driving through Kansas. I don't even think people in Kansas like driving through Kansas, but I do. I just love the country out there. It's beautiful. Lighten that up a little bit. With a little bead of water on this. Smooth that out a little bit. I know you guys can't see some of these things because like my camera's not super focused, but these little things matter. Well, I'm gonna grab a little bit more of my pink here. And by the way, I mentioned this on Tuesday. I'm just using cheap generic watercolors here. Like this is totally inexpensive watercolors. These are ones you can pick up at like Walmart for like, I don't know, $10 or something like that. They're nothing I use here is very expensive. The paper's cheap, the watercolor's cheap. Now, it may be reflected in the quality of the work, but I don't mind. I'm just having fun. Like somebody who's trying to produce the best quality work, yeah, you're probably going to want some better watercolors. Don't ask me for my advice on that. I really don't know. But if you're just having fun, if you're just learning like I am, these will do it. You don't need really fancy stuff just to get by. So I'm pretty happy with like the upper side of her face. I need to kind of move in to her chin area, which I haven't really gotten to either. Get some of the shadow, and then I need to finish up the lips, which are sorely lacking here. I could probably use a bigger brush here now that I'm thinking about it, but I'm happy enough with this small brush until I kind of get comfortable with the bigger brushes doing like things like this. So I know that this is kind of blending into the neck, but that's because I haven't made the neck dark as it's going to be in like actual shadow value. So bear with me a bit. There's stages to these things, guys. It doesn't all just happen at once, or at least not for me. Like maybe for other people, it kind of goes in a different process. But for me, I'm basically sketching a face right now, you know. Yeah, good paper. That's what I hear as well. So like the paper matters the most, and then to a lesser degree the paints, and then to a lesser degree the brushes and stuff. I'm definitely not at the level where I'm worried about any of that stuff. I'm happy enough just to create a picture that doesn't suck. But yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of different brands that people recommend a lot. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but yeah, definitely good paper. Paper is the paint. I would say that applies to like everything art related. Like I found that's the case with like the colored pencils. That's definitely the case with the pastel pencils that I've been doing. Paper matters essentially. Um, The one thing I found that it really doesn't matter so much on, and maybe it does, I don't know, but like I haven't seen where it really matters so much with like charcoal. Charcoal, you can basically use that on anything. You can like use that on like the wall and it won't matter. Now, somebody out there is going to disagree with me, but I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to say basically you can use charcoal on anything. is the most versatile medium that I've ever played with. It does not care what kind of paper you use. I mean, I used the charcoal on like a brown lunch sack to draw like Gandalf, and just because I wanted like some toned paper. Yeah, there you go. All right, see that's reasonable. And like what I was saying earlier, you're in there, dog. So what I was saying earlier is that you don't even need a large set because if you feel comfortable blending, and I'm not there yet, but I'm learning. If you feel comfortable blending your colors and stuff, it's not like you need a large set of watercolors. You can just, go with the primary colors, blend what you need. You know, obviously, like it's easier if you have a larger set, but you don't have to break the bank to get a decent set of anything. Here. So I'm gonna blend out this channel a little bit just because this is way too rough. I shouldn't have tried to do that with like the small brush. Smooth that out. Otherwise, she looks like she has a skin condition. All right, now obviously my lips aren't as big as I wanted them to be. So let me work with that a little bit. Hey, have a good one, Larry. I appreciate you hanging out. And don't forget, like when I win the lottery tonight, I'm throwing that big party. You're invited. All of you guys are invited. So make sure you come to that. After I win the lottery, I got to win the lottery first. So one of us does. It's always the really old people who win the lottery. Like, what are they going to use it for? Like cruises? Come on. We need to throw a party. Yeah, I'll definitely check those out, Sticky. I'm always on the lookout for good recommendations like that. I appreciate it. Bring that cheek down a little bit. I'm not really sure how that's going to dry, but we'll find out. All right, so I'm going to stop tinkering with the face, let it dry, and then come back and see what touch-ups I need to do because I kind of figure I'm going to need to do some here. And I'm going to kind of work on this the body area. And then I think, let's see, what do we, yeah, so we're like at an hour and 12 minutes. I need to start getting other features in here like the dress and so on. So I'll come back to the face. The face is not done. I will continue working on that. I have seen some people really crank out fast watercolor pictures. That is not me, guys. You're gonna have to you guys are gonna have to deal with the fact that I'm still learning. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about, Sticky. Right? It's always the older people, And hey, you know what? I shouldn't complain. Like they they put in the time. They've earned it, right? So like, who am I to judge? I'm just saying, let some younger people win. We'll share it with the older people. That's not a problem. I've got older people that I can share my money with. I just need the money first. That's all. I'm joking, of course, but not really. Let me win the lottery, please. All right, so I am gonna kind of like roughen the shades on this dress a little bit quicker. So again, it's almost like a monotone picture. Like her dress is white, but it's picking up the lights that are also kind of making it cream color. So a lot of this is going to be like monotone, and then I think I'll punch it up with some color later, but I kind of want to get all the shapes in first. That sounds awesome, man. Absolutely. So, like I said earlier, absolutely, if I win the lottery tonight, the people who are subscribed to this show, you guys are going to benefit somehow, some way. I mean, the thing I can think of off the top of my head is a big old art party where we all get together and paint pictures, but we'll think of something, guys. I mean, it's $1 billion. That goes a long way. Can can rent out an entire cruise ship and just throw one like big get together. That'd be cool. Probably don't want to spend it all at once though. Probably should save just a little bit for like future parties. Just a little bit. It's gonna be so much fun, guys. It's gonna be awesome. I like doing folds in clothing. For some reason, just because I haven't done like a lot of figure pictures, doing like this these like folds and this clothing feels like old Renaissance art, you know, like where people wore like togas and robes and things like that. It's just like sheets or something. So I'm starting this off with some brown, but I think it's going to be like more of a grayer color later. So some of these, I feel like I can get away with this bigger brush as well. So let me go ahead and move into that. I've been stuck on the face so much that I forget that I do have some other brushes here that I can be using. Let's see. So it's all kind of in shadow. When you 50,000 to clone your dog? Hey man, why not, right? I'm not committing to that, but seriously, that's the kind of things I would do. Because it's $1 billion, guys. That's a lot of money. You know, after taxes, it's maybe half a billion, but still, you can buy a lot of art supplies with that. I'm just saying. Get some of the yellow one here. Let's see. Buy a lot of art supplies. You can buy those Windsor paints that Sticky was mentioning. Thank you, Radiance. I'm sure that's not true. Like, um, you know, watercolor is definitely like an acquired skill, but you know, if you say I'm good, I haven't really spent a lot of time on it. So I feel like of the types of painting that people can do, watercolor is probably one of the easier things to pick up. Um, and other people are way better at it than me. There's a few techniques that if you learn those, you've got a good starting point, right? So one is if you're dealing with something that's kind of out of focus or like not the main focus or something like that, which in this case is her dress. I mean, people aren't looking at her dress when they look at her, they're looking at her face. Um, you know, you can use like a broad stroke with a very wet brush. So like I come in, I grab a little bit of paint and then I wet it. I've got the water off camera, but um, so now it's super wet, right? So look, I'm just basically scribbling. It's not like I'm putting a lot of artistic skill into this part. It's just a wet brush, and it's going to give you this kind of like out of focus, just like blobs of color everywhere, that sort of thing. You see how it picked up the color there? So like say you made a mistake. Like I feel like up here it's a little bit muddy, so I'm definitely going to clean that up. You can literally use clean water to kind of like erase, right? So like it's just little things like that. There's skill to it, and it probably takes like some practice. That's what I'm doing, right? Because I'm not perfect at it, but the basic concepts are there to where um, it there's not a lot to it, is what I'm getting at. I don't know. I might be oversimplifying it. I don't know. Like, there's probably people out there that's going to be like, Jeremy, you're wrong. It's very difficult. But I don't know. Of all the different things I've tried, it seems easiest, and it's not like I'm trying to downplay it at all. I'm just saying that like the stuff you're doing isn't really that technical, is what I'm getting at. Like it's more difficult in the drawing part of it, the composition, figuring out where things are going to be, mixing colors, that sort of stuff. That's where the real challenge is. Just actually applying the paint. I don't know that that's really that challenging. Basically, I'm saying you can do it, Radiance. You can do it. I have every bit of confidence. Anybody in this room can do any of this stuff I'm doing because it's not because I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun, and it seems to be working out until it doesn't. Like I'm going to make a mistake here now that I've said all that, but that's fine. That's part of the process. You make mistakes, you fix them, you move on. Also, a lot of this is just duplicating what you see, right? So I do have a reference picture up. I see that this area is a little bit darker than this area, so I need to apply some more paint there. Probably doesn't have to be that kind of muddled. I can move it around a little bit. It's just, there's a bit to it, but it's not crazy. So I run the risk of making it look like she's wearing like I do have to set like add some sort of like color difference in here so that like right now, even though that's the way it looks in the reference picture, I don't want to make it look like, you know, I don't want there to be any confusion over what part's skin, what part's not, because I'm looking at this and I'm running the risk. It looks like she's wearing like a top and that this is like body and she's just got like a sheet draped over her. That's not what I'm going for. So that's somehow through this. And there we go. There's another lesson, right? So most of what you're doing, I feel, or at least what I found that I'm doing, is solving problems. So I just identified a problem, which is I don't want it to look like she's wearing a top and has a sheet draped over her. So I have to solve that somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. But before I can call this done, I need to make sure that this dress, and maybe it's that I'll put some, because there is some patterns in the reference art, maybe I'll put some patterns in there so that it all looks like it's one type of cloth. Um, but that's a lot of like what you're doing is like an artist, I feel, is like encountering problems, working out how to fix them, and just, going from there. Like that one problem that I just identified, which I think is a pretty good example. And I've talked in the past about how really what you're doing as an artist is conveying information. So in this case, I'm failing as an artist because I'm not conveying enough information to let you know that she's wearing a dress, right? It may look good, like it looks to me, it looks fine. It looks like a nice start, but it's not conveying the right information you know. So before I'm done, I need to fix that. And I think that the way I'll fix that is I'll actually give like a pattern to the dress so that it all looks like one piece. But I'm not there yet. Sometimes these pictures take more than like I actually have time to finish. I mean, it's Friday night, so I don't mind putting more time into it, but I also want to be respectful of the viewers. Let's see, what are some other things I can say about this? Also, you know, layers, layers matter. So like here, I've got like one light layer, and I come back over it with like a dark layer, creates this depth to it, kind of looks interesting. I did want this to kind of, see, this part here comes down across. The more layers that are in it, the more it looks like more depth to it. You know, 3 dimensions, layers. I've been drinking a lot of bourbon, so I may not make sense. In my mind, I'm spouting out like jewels of wisdom here, but it may not be coming off that way. Like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that sounded really good, Jeremy. Let's see, this is all more shadow over here. I'm not sure what pattern I'm going to add to this dress, but at some point I will add something to that effect. Um, I don't like how monotone it is, so I might actually add like blue flowers or something like that to kind of like, because she has blue eyes, which you can't really see on camera, but I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that. That feels like drawing. Um, I do kind of want to stick with the watercolor, so even though I can easily do that in colored pencils, I don't feel like I'm going to do that. Like I feel like even though there's nothing wrong with doing colored pencils, this like as I'm trying to learn watercolor, I'm forbidding myself from doing colored pencils on the watercolor. Like I have to solve the problem using watercolor or gouache somehow, and I think it'll probably be gouache. Just be like a simple floral print of some sort. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yellow stars, purple. There you go. Hey, cool. Go feed the chickens. That's awesome. All right. Have a good one, Shelly. Um, this will be up there as like a video later. So feel free. Anybody needs to jump off. You're not going to offend me. I get busy too. Like sometimes I watch people's videos and I appreciate you guys commenting, to be honest, because sometimes I watch people's videos and I don't want to comment because I know I'm going to be having to hop off soon and I don't want to offend them. You guys don't need to worry about that kind of stuff with me. I know that people are busy. It's cool. Hop in when you can, hop out when you can't, and when you have to jump off. It's all good. Plus, I know that like a lot of people watch other streams as well, like other videos and like other live streams at the same time, things like that. It's totally cool. Darken that up a little bit. Gotta always be minding the shadows, guys. It's all about shadows and highlights. Well, and colors too, but I'm not so good at colors, so I'm gonna stick with the shadows and highlights. Those are things that I feel comfortable with, or like not really comfortable with. I'm still learning on that too, but it's something I feel more comfortable with. That needs to be right. So you can kind of see the quality difference in the paints, I guess. Well, not difference because there's nothing here to compare it to, but you can see the poor quality of paint because it kind of like gunks up a little bit, but it is what it is. You can still make it work. One of the first things I've done on this channel was a coffee painting, and if you can make coffee work as like a watercolor medium, you can definitely work with cheap watercolors. Also, what I'm doing now, these long strokes and stuff, I feel like that's more conducive to getting a nice picture out of it. Otherwise, you end up with like a bunch of jumbled up stuff. So learn. All right. I am going to try to clean up that chin because it shouldn't be so dark. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to try to lift it up with some water. I want it to be smooth. Try to kind of mop that up a little bit. Okay, I think that looks better. Like it doesn't really look that different on camera, but at least to me. And then a little bit of shadow here. And a little bit more shadow here, so I'm going to kind of bring that out. All right, I'm not happy with those lips, so I'm going to work on that. What do I get for that? Let's start with this pink. And I have this red. I'm going to mix in with that pink, I think. I'm going to make those lips bigger. Get that going. And all the red. Actually, I'm just going to hold this red. Yeah, see, you guys can't really see that. Sorry. I'm mixing basically this kind of peachish red, pink with this red to kind of make this like reddish pink. I don't know what the name of it would be. But I do think that the mouth should be much larger. Bring that across there. And then there's some shadow to it too, but I'm going to add that here in a minute. Like the actual mouth line, that sort of stuff. Right now I just want to give it the right size, or at least the best I can do. Like she doesn't have like extraordinarily large lips or anything like that, but they are bigger than what I initially had. Let's see. Get that all important Cupid's bow in there. I think that's important. All right, I think that that's a good start. Redden that up a little bit, but not too much. Like her lipstick isn't like ruby red or anything like that. Want to selectively add some red here just to give it some dimension. Again, all of this stuff is the small stuff that you guys probably can't see on camera right now, but hopefully it dries well and you guys can see these details later. Get some more red in there. Problem is this red's all dried out. There you go. Feeling. Let's see. Get some red out here towards the end of this. Another little line of red. Yeah, I think that $1 billion is going to really help. I can't wait to win it. It's going to be awesome. If I don't win it, I hope one of you guys do. In all sincerity. I just think, I would love to actually, maybe there's a documentary out there. I would like to meet somebody, not so I can beg for money or anything like that, but I would like to meet somebody who won the lottery and just ask them how their life's changed. because that sounds super interesting. All right. See if I feel like I have a steadier hand now than when I first started the show today. Like the bourbon's wearing off. Line there at the end. There you go. That looks better. You're gonna win? Who cares? Are you gonna hide a treasure down by the Titanic? You gonna borrow a sub for that? Is it too soon to be making jokes about that? Probably. I probably shouldn't be joking about that. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that you can do with $1 billion. You can take a sub ride to the Titanic, apparently. Get some highlight going here. Oh, by the way, this is that white gouache I was talking about earlier. So the gouache is opaque, so I can come over things like the lips with it and create highlights. You can also use it to create highlights in the eyes, which is what I'm going to do now. Well, yeah. All right, I'll do it now, but I have to put that pupil back in. Looks cool, but it doesn't look right without that pupil. Light little, just a just a tiny bit over there on that eye. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Sticky. I appreciate it. Um, I try to catch yours whenever I can. Um, just to let you guys know, Sticky also has like a channel. He does like phenomenal work. If you guys uh, get a chance, be sure to check that out. Like he does some pretty cool stuff with pop culture characters like Mario and uh, I think there was a SpongeBob thing going on there. It's really cool. It's the uh, it's the kind of stuff I should really be doing. But definitely check that out. Plus, he's a cool guy, so you should check him out just for that. All right. There's also a line above the eye that I neglected to put in, but that needs to be in brown. Can't get the maybe it's because that brown's all dried up. Try some wet brown. I'll just leave it right off the thing. Don't lay down. There we go. Bring that down a little bit. The corner of the eye. Yeah, like these little details here that I'm putting in now, these are really the things that sell the realism. This is where I pat myself on the back and I'm like, dang, even I like that. I'll try the same over here, but to a lesser degree. And then Cool. I like that. All right. Thank you, Radiance. I appreciate that, Radiance. I appreciate you. You guys are all so nice. All right, so this should be darker through here. All right, so that's a good start. So like I feel like I'm behind actually. I feel like there needs to be some more. Like there's supposed to be a whole couch here in the like a background. Let me try to focus on the background real quick, just so that I can. I feel like the best way to approach a picture when you're live streaming. I know this isn't going to matter to most of you guys out there because you guys are just doing art for yourself. You're not trying to do like a live stream. But seeing as how I do live streams, I will throw this out there. I feel like you should approach it so that the picture always looks like it's in a state of doneness, even though it's not, right? So like I always talk about I need to get it to where it looks decent for a thumbnail because like as soon as I stop the stream, I wanna throw up a thumbnail for it and put in like a description and stuff like that, right? So I need it to at least be done enough for that. So that's kind of my approach to doing. Um, Oops, adjust my camera there. There we go. That's kind of my approach to doing these live streams is I need to get it to the point where I can put up a thumbnail. And it's also nice to like move it to a sort of doneness so that it never looks weird, right? Because you have different people who pop in at different times. Um, so when you're doing art, it's kind of like a performance, like people are watching and stuff like that. You wanna you wanna make sure that people when they do pop in, it doesn't look completely weird. It doesn't weird people out. That's why, like in the beginning, when I was doing the eyes and they were just kind of like these like little dots at first. I'm like, let me kind of quickly move on to finishing those up so that they're not just these dots, right? Because that looks weird. I know that you guys can't see this background so well. It's because it's like a really subtle light blue. It's just kind of like a little bit of a wash of like really super light blue. I don't want it to be too intense because like this entire picture is like really soft colors. A bit much there, but that's okay. Just kind of scribbling this in. And of course, she's on a couch too. I'll have to get that in there at some point, but just this like light blue, I think looks really good with the kind of beigeish, beige-ish, sorry, bourbon, beigeish color, whatever. You know what I'm saying. The beige colors in this picture, I think that blue looks really nice and soft with it. And again, you can't really see it on camera, but it's there. Hey, Marble. Just hanging out on a Friday night. Oh, thank you, Marble. I wish it was more done at this stage. Like, what are we at now? Yeah, like an hour and 40 minutes. But, the pieces are there. Uh, like, you could stop at this point and call it, you know, art. I mean, it does capture the subject and so on, but there's more I want to do with it. So I'm just gonna keep trucking on. You guys can hang out with me and watch, or if you got something else to do, that's totally cool too. But I'm gonna keep trucking along. So this couch that she's sitting on, it's kind of like one of those that has like the little. Oh, thank you, Marble. This couch kind of has like those like little buttons to it. So those are always fun to draw or paint because like again, it's like like the dress, the folds in the dress and stuff. Those are so fun because it's just a bunch of light and shadows and so on. It's kind of the same deal with these buttons. You got to figure out which way the light's coming from, and then it's just a bunch of like shadows. I appreciate that compliment, Marble. Yeah, I'm trying to branch out and do different things. So like watercolor isn't something that I do a lot, so I don't know. Hopefully I don't like bore you guys with like doing watercolor all the time, but like the way I am is that like freaking the way I am is that like if I want to learn something, I just do it so much, like I just repeat it over and over and over again until like it's kind of second nature. So hopefully it doesn't bore you guys for me to be doing watercolors for a little bit. I'll probably still do other things like charcoal and pastel and stuff just because I also get bored doing the same things over and over. But I don't know. I'm kind of on this watercolor kick right now, which oh, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. Add a bit of water to this. My paint's been drying out because I've been here doing this so long. We got like a messy palette. So like I just use this dish by the way. They like at art stores, there's so many different, products that you can buy and stuff like that. You can just find like a nice porcelain dish. I like the nice porcelain dish because it cleans really easy. So like when I'm done with this, I just run it under some hot water, maybe use a little bit of soap, and this paint comes up really easy. And then it's good to go again. I don't have to keep buying other ones. And the other thing is like, so I tried the plastic little palette things. I still have one around here somewhere. I found that those get stained really easily with the Hi, Lazello. Sorry. No, I'm not. I'm here until this is done. I'm trying to apologize to people who like have been sticking around, and I'm not making very quick progress on it. Anyway, like I was saying, so those cheap plastic palettes that you can get at like the art store and stuff, don't waste your money. Like just get like some porcelain dish or something like that. It'll work just as fine. Those plastic ones, they end up staining and like they're just not necessary unless you just wanted a disposable one, like you don't want to have to wash the dish or something, but otherwise just get one of these things. It's better in my opinion, unless you just want to like throw them out when you're done. Hey, so Lazella's in here. I just wanted to tell you guys, like, she started live streaming herself just recently. She's got that all figured out. She had a camera up. She was doing live streaming. So Make sure you guys check that out. Cool, Rum Dog. I appreciate that. Yeah, since I'm giving out shout outs, basically everybody who's in here, yeah, most of you guys have channels, so make sure you guys check out each other's channels and stuff like that. You know, check out each other's artworks, um, because like I believe in that kind of stuff. I believe in the benefit of like kind of checking everybody's work out and kind of sharing tips and things like that. I mean, we're not really a team or anything, but I kind of like to think of us as a team, you know? We're all artists hanging out on YouTube. We all know each other, sort of. I think it's kind of cool to network like that. I don't know. Makes me feel like I'm part of a group. I like it. We're like the Avengers or something. Not really. Like the Art Avengers? Is that the thing? Or like Thor said, the Revengers? We're avenging the art. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, so it isn't easy, Lazello. Like especially the first couple of times. That's why I was saying congratulations when I went in there because like it is a feat. So um, so a couple of tips since you asked is one, you gotta just be comfortable talking to yourself. You know, like check in on the chat when you can, but just remember that like you are there to create art and stuff like that. So try to check in, but don't worry about it. I noticed that you were kind of a little bit concerned that you were ignoring chat. Don't worry about the chat. Um, a lot of times people just go in there to like kind of hang out with each other anyway and stuff. But all right, so that's part one. The two camera setup is there's a product called OBS Studio. Um, it's a software on your computer that allows you to put in multiple different like input sources. And there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube about how to do that. But it's called OBS Studio. It's free. There are other solutions out there that you can do, but OBS Studio is free, so that's what I use. And yeah, it's super straightforward. There's some technical stuff in it, but again, there's some YouTube tutorials that will kind of help walk you through it. But basically, I have my cell phone up here because I'm too cheap to buy another camera. The reason why it's kind of blurry is because the cell phone camera only has so much quality, and I can't zoom in like I would like to. So at some point when I win that lottery tonight, I'm gonna get a nice camera for like the overhead. But right now it's just my phone, and then I also have actually a nice webcam that's facing me on top of my monitor. Uh, but the problem is it's one of those fixed focal length webcams, so it's kind of got this fisheye thing to it. I tried to use it as an overhead camera for my art, but like I actually bought two of them. One of them I was going to use, but it kind of gives it this like fishbowl look. I didn't like it, and also like I don't know, you couldn't really zoom in and zoom out and stuff like that. At least with this thing, I can zoom in. It's going to be a little bit blurry, but you know. Anyway, long story short, I've got those two cameras kind of piped into OBS Studio, and then also I've got a microphone plugged into OBS Studio. But then also, it's how I can switch from screen to screen as well. So like you can have other input sources, like you can have a background image, you can have like a desktop or like share your screen or something like that. These are all different sources that you can bring into OBS and just switch back and forth to them. So I'm probably not explaining it very well, but that's the gist of it. That's how you do the two camera setup. And it's a little awkward at first, but you kind of get used to it. I know, like, please don't go back and watch my first live stream. It was terrible. But yeah, it's like super awkward because like I don't know, people are not naturally supposed to be talking to their computers. It's just weird. Like there's people out there. Like you guys are real people, I hope, not just like some AI bots or something like that. but I'm talking to you through a computer and it's just awkward. Like if we were all in the same room, it would be so much easier, but I don't know. It's got some pluses too. Like I don't know. Like probably the social anxiety would be more if you guys were actually here watching, looking over my shoulder, watching this stuff. That would probably be a little bit more challenging for me. But yeah, it is what it is. But I like that you're doing the live streaming now. That's kind of cool. All right, so there's more definition I can put into this like kind of pincushion couch. But I'm going to let it dry and kind of switch to other things that, so this is the part where I'm trying to like um, prioritize parts. Like I said, I kind of want it to look finished at every stage, right? So like at this point, it looks finished enough on the couch where I can just leave it and move back into like doing details in the hair, things like that. Things that I kind of phoned in earlier because I didn't really have time to work on it. Yeah, occasionally people do answer you. So one of the things that I'd like to do, and I haven't been able to figure out how to do that yet, but I would like to take the comments that I see and just kind of like have a little shortcut button that I can have the comments pop up on the screen. Um, so that's another little tip I can give is like a live streamer is like if you're not doing that, like if you're not showing the thing, instead of just saying, "Oh, that's funny," you should probably repeat back what was said. So like you said, occasionally people answer me. That's awkward. And so now I can say, "Oh, that's funny," because the audience who's watching at home now knows what I'm talking about instead of just, "Oh, that's funny," without any kind of context, if that makes sense. So that's the weird part about it. So the weird part about it is, on one hand, I keep saying that's the weird part about it. Like there's a multiple different weird things about it. But on one hand, you're an artist and you're there to make a picture. So I'm here to like draw this or paint this picture in watercolor. But on the other hand, there's this whole other quality to it that you wouldn't have to normally deal with as an artist, and that is I'm also being a performer. I am performing, drawing, or doing the watercolor. That's a weird aspect to it. It's probably something that teachers have to deal with, I guess. But it's definitely not something I'm used to. So it's just this other little thing. That's why I tell people like, when they ask like, "Oh, what kind of art do you do?" I tell them because I think it's true. I'm a performance artist. I paint, I draw, I do other things and stuff, but it's always a performance because I don't I don't do this stuff to sell or anything like that. I really just do it because I want to learn and I'm here on YouTube. So it's a performance. It's weird. That's my philosophy on it at least. Like I don't know. Plus the stuff I create, it's kind of weird. So like you guys got me on this. Well, you guys, the bourbon's got me on this philosophical thing, but um, I think about like what actual art I'm creating, and on one hand you can say, well, I'm creating a watercolor painting, right? That's only half the truth. Like I'm creating a watercolor painting, but the truth of it is that I'm creating a video of creating a watercolor painting. Okay? So it's not just a watercolor painting, it's also the video. And then when I'm all said and done, I really enjoy creating those shorts where I do the time lapses and choose music to go with it, right? So that in itself is a different piece of art. So there's like at least three different pieces of art that comes out of this one painting. I just find that kind of stuff fascinating, you know? Like, is the art the painting? Or is the art the performance? Is the art the video, the little short, the animation, that kind of stuff? Like, what is the actual art here? I have no idea. It's just fascinating to me to think about. So like if you were looking for a watercolor if you were looking for like a watercolor painting and stuff, you probably find way better watercolor paintings than what I've got here. But you're not going to get me, right? You're not going to get me talking to you and stuff like that in other watercolor paintings. So That's the value of my art, is that I talk to you about it. I don't know. Like it sounds good. You guys probably at home saying, "Oh, Jeremy's full of crap tonight." It's just weird to think about. But I will say, definitely doing live streams is a whole nother ball of wax than just doing like the videos and stuff like that. Honestly, I wish I had more time to do like the standalone videos. Um, One of the reasons why I do these live streams is well, there's a couple of different reasons. I like talking to you guys, but one of the other reasons is to take, I don't know, however long this takes, like say it takes 2 hours, say it takes 3 hours, however long it takes to create this piece of art. That freaking mosquito's back. Is that the same one from Tuesday? Um, however, sorry, however long it takes to create this artwork, then you have to go in and kind of like edit it down, try to find the different parts that make sense. If you're not just doing like a time lapse or whatever, you have to actually edit a video together. That stuff, like I don't really have the time to do. It's a lot easier to sit in the chair and create the art and just kind of like leave it as a raw thing than it is for me to actually edit it and make something interesting out of it. I do like painting the hair with this watercolor. Thanks, Radiance. I like having you guys in it. To be honest with you, I didn't know if I would like doing live streams. I just did them, but I actually enjoy this. This is fun. I've never really talked about drawing while drawing before, or painting or anything like that. So it's definitely reciprocal. I enjoy you guys as well. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Get a little bit of black in there. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this hair, but I really need to get some details into that dress. Because right now it really does run the risk of looking like just a top and a sheet. That's not what it's meant to be. I will say it's more challenging for me to paint blondes than it is to like just do like dark hair or something like that. There's a lot more detail that shows through in like a blonde haircut or hair color. Sorry. I guess the color doesn't really matter with the cut. It does. It does require a lot of patience. I guess it depends on the style though. Like some people do like expressive watercolor, which probably only takes as long as like expressive charcoal. Um, but yeah, if you're trying to get something realistic out of it, it's going to take a while, I think. Like I'm trying to get like a representational piece here, like a piece that actually represents the person. That takes a while. I feel like drawing is a lot easier, but I don't want to get stuck to where I'm just drawing. I think, where did I go wrong here? It's one finger, two fingers, three fingers. Where's the other finger at? I guess that would be behind. So this part here is actually hair. Almost messed up, guys. So I mentioned earlier in the piece, what I like to do is get, so this isn't like heavily detailed yet, right? And it may not be. I may just leave it like it is. But what I like to do early in doing a painting is get as much of the color down as I can, just because like you draw these guidelines and stuff, but eventually as you go along, those start disappearing just because they're painted over or whatever. And you kind of lose where you're at, right? So like here is another example of like where I made a mistake. So the hand is coming up. You can see through the hand like right here and so on. That I should have colored in earlier just so that I wouldn't be confused now. But now that like all of this here is hair. So yeah, so like the lesson there, I guess, is yeah, delicate. That's a good way to put it. I like it. I guess the lesson here is be careful, like in the beginning, so that you don't end up forgetting what part's what part, and you end up painting something the wrong way. The other benefit, I guess, is like if I was like super concerned about getting everything to be the same value and the same colors and so on, if I had mixed some colors and had to come back and put this in later, and it was like some complicated color or something, and I had to remix that color or something, that would be challenging. Or like that would be a bigger mistake, I guess I should say. Also, I don't know if like watercolor has to be so delicate. So like I don't know if you're noticing or not, but like in my last painting that I did and in this painting, I'm using this micro brush. And it's just because I recently acquired it. And it's probably the wrong way to approach this, right? So like here I got like a lot of color down because I was using the bigger brush and it looks softer and so on. But here up in the head, I'm using this micro brush. One, just because I love using it. It allows you to create this like super delicate detail. But then the other thing is because I'm so used to drawing, and this right here makes me feel like I'm drawing slowly, but drawing instead of painting. And that's probably the wrong approach. Like somehow, some way, I feel like I'm doing this the wrong way, but it works for me, and I like how what it's creating. So I guess it's not really wrong, but it just feels wrong because I feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I'm reverting back to drawing instead of painting, but I think it looks nice. I think it creates that cool detailed effect that I was going for. Honestly, I don't know how I could do some of these features with a bigger brush. I think it's kind of necessary to do it this way. Like these shadows and so on. I don't know. I'm just having fun. Yeah, so we're at like around 2 hours. So like anybody who wants to hop off, like I said, you're not gonna offend me by hopping off early. I'm gonna continue going. Just because like why not? It's Friday night, but if you guys want to hop off, feel free to. I like to keep them around 2 hours, but I think the truth of it is people probably hop around when they watch these things anyway. Like they probably start off watching it and then maybe like jump to the end or something. I don't know how it works, but that makes sense to me. All right, have a good one, Radiance. Thanks, Lozella. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's like, you do whatever works for you. It's not like I'm in school or anything and there's some teacher grading me or anything. I'm just my own critic, that's all. Um, I guess it comes from like the programming stuff, right? So like whenever I learn programming things, because that's what I do in like my day job, is programming. So in programming, there are definitely best practices, right? Like definitely ways of doing things that like you should really try to adhere to, or some that it's even necessary to adhere to, but probably like best practices at least. So I do like to try to adopt best practices. It's a little fuzzier in art, because like really art is definitely uh, up to everybody, like how they want to do it. Like no, there's no right way to do art. you know, everybody's got their own thing. Um, but I do feel like there probably is some best practices out there and stuff that like if they are, I kind of want to learn those, even if I end up like rejecting them later, right? So like I don't know, like anatomy, for example. I want to learn how to draw anatomy, even if I end up saying screw that. I don't want to do like realistic anatomy. I want to invent anatomy or something of that nature, if that makes sense. So learn the right way so that you can go your own way. That's what I want to do. I'm not recommending that. It's not like I'm telling other people that that's good or that you guys should do the same. It's just the way I want to do it. All right. I don't want to overwork this hair, so I'm going to move on from that area. I think that's fine enough. Let's see. There is definitely supposed to be some lighter area up here. Oops. Should actually have a little bit more yellow in it. It shouldn't be so white, but I think it's fine. I was saying because like this is the first blonde hair color that I've drawn in a while. I should call this Barbie and like put that as my title on the video, like drawing Barbie. It's not Barbie. I do want to see that movie though. Okay, I feel like this is enough done that I feel comfortable moving on to other parts like through here. This is like all washed out. Not done. Whoops. Sorry, little dude. Right? I do enjoy that as well. So Lizella says that she enjoys making a toddler-like mess and then forming it into something recognizable. That's my whole thing with the charcoal pictures, at least. Like certainly some of my charcoal pictures, it's so much fun to do that. I completely agree. It is so rewarding. Um, and honestly, my a lot of other people enjoy it as well. So like I don't really know what drives people to watch videos and stuff like that, but like like my most popular video is actually where I made a messy charcoal drawing of Wednesday Adams. And I don't know if it's just really popular because it's Wednesday Adams and everybody knows who Wednesday Adams is, or if it's also because like, you know, it's really cool. But I enjoyed that, and I think it turned out really good. And it was so satisfying just to make a big old mess. Um, this is where I come back to saying that like I'm a performance artist, right? Because the drawing I did of Wednesday Adams in charcoal is cool, but it's even cooler in the time lapse where it starts off as a big mess. It almost looks like she's a ghost, and then she materializes out of that mess and becomes a like a person. To me, that's a little bit more interesting than just the art itself. Like the art itself is kind of cool, you know. Like Wednesday Adams is charcoal. That makes a lot of sense because she's like basically a black and white person. Um, but to see her materialize out like from a like almost as a ghost, I think that's cool, you know. And you know, you couldn't call that anything but performance art, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I would call it, but anyway, the point is, oh, my point was that yeah, messy art's fun. Messy art's fun. There's some other things that people do kind of in similar veins where they just kind of draw a mess and then they kind of figure out like, well, what shapes are there, and then they start making art from the shapes that they see in it. I think that's kind of cool. So like they'll just draw a scribble and be like, oh, that scribble looks like a school bus, and they'll you know turn it into a school bus or something. That's kind of cool. Cat at the door. It is like these animals have like this internal clock and stuff. Like that cat knows it. I've been doing this longer than usual tonight. So the sun is coming through here, so I don't want to add a lot of detail over here on this side. Just enough to show that it is hair and that I didn't just forget to to color that part. So I think one of the things I have to work on, especially in these smaller pictures, is the face is a little blotchy. And I think that's fine for the kind of art that I'm doing here, but I gotta work on making smoother areas of color. 'Cause like through here it's kind of like a little bit blotty. Oh well. I forgot to put in her nostrils. I need to do that real quick. I want that to be super dry. The funny thing is, I never actually learned how to do watercolor pictures. I'm just kind of doing it. That's the best art, where you don't actually know what you're doing and it just happens to work out. Like I watched maybe one or two tutorials on it, but it's not like I'm really trying hard to apply what I learned in those things. They're just like little half-hour things. It's just weird. How did I do that without messing that up? That is awesome. Like when I'm done with this and you look at those nostrils, like I didn't screw it up, even though I've been drinking bourbon all night. Yeah, 2 hours to draw one flower. I try to get the picture done within 2 hours, but I do think that most pictures that I do in color, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm just not used to doing color. Like I'm way more used to doing black and white. Um, they usually take 3 to 4 hours total. So I usually do 2 hours on the live stream, and then I come back and do like, I don't know, an additional 2 hours in the next morning or something like that. So I think that's where I'm at. My type of art, the type of art that I typically do, usually takes about 3 to 4 hours if it's in color. Now, my black and white drawings, those range very widely. Like I can get a rough portrait done. By rough, I mean very rough. But I can get a rough portrait done within a half hour, or I can spend 2 hours on one. And I'm not sure there's much difference between the half-hour one and the 2 hour one. I guess I can get more detail and more shadows and highlights in the 2 hour one. But like if you see me do a messy charcoal picture, that's me saying basically like I want to create art, but I don't want to make a big production out of it. So I just do that because that's my comfort zone. Thanks, kid. Yep, my messy charcoal pictures are my comfort zone. I think my influence there was watching the Mad Charcoal guy. Like I don't know if you guys are familiar with his channel, but he does some really awesome charcoal work and stuff like that. He's probably my inspiration for my style on those. Of course, he does it better, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I'm trying. Uh, so the part I'm doing now is just kind of giving definition to that dress. I do think that I need to add some sort of like floral print so that you know it's all one outfit. I mean, it kind of looks like definitely with me adding some more detail here, it kind of looks like all one thing. But earlier before it dried, it started looking like this was the same color as like her skin tone, right? So it could easily be confused as she's wearing a top and then just has like a sheet over her. I want it to look like one big dress. So I feel like I got to make that work somehow. Or maybe not. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm inventing problems in my head, but in my mind it seemed like a big problem. But the way it's drying, I don't think it's as big of a problem. Like earlier, it looked like she had two separate pieces of articles of clothing on, which, you know, so be it, but that's not really what I wanted. I usually give my drawings a story. I don't know if I have a story for this girl. I think um I don't know. I think this is a wedding dress she was wearing, or maybe a bridesmaid outfit. She's a bridesmaid, is what I'm gonna say. That's her story. She's a bridesmaid. Um, I got no good story. I'll have to put some thought into it. I'm only saying bridesmaid because I recently went to a wedding and it was fun. We're going there. So there is more to this couch. So most of you guys who've been hanging out with me for a while know that I could care less on some of these things that are out of focus. I just want to hint at them. So like I don't put a lot of details and hey timestamp scamp. I just like saying that. That is a cool name. Timestamp scamp. Is this your first time in here? Because like that's such a fun name. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying, so like most of you guys who's been in here for a while know that I do not spend a lot of time on these background elements. I just want to convey what they are. So to me, it doesn't matter if there's like a lot of details in this couch, so long as it, you get enough information to know that it's a couch. Except when I did Lorraine's dog's couch because I love that couch. I had to put like the couch was part of the focal point of that picture. I love that couch. That is a fun name. Timestamp timestamp scamp. I can say that after drinking bourbon. I'm so proud of myself. I don't know how light this is gonna dry, but it's gonna want. Thank you, Marvel. I really appreciate that. I mean, naturally, things do get better the more details that you add to them. Um, I'm not worried about running into that brick wall, but there is a point where you can overwork a picture. I don't think I would ever find myself in that situation because, like, I usually go less is more. But I guess there is a case to be made for finding some place to stop before you go too crazy with it. Hey, me woo, I'm me woo. I'm continuing with my practicing watercolor like I was on Tuesday. This is probably almost done for as much as I can do tonight. There's probably some more features. What I like to do with paintings is I do like to let them sit overnight, and then, once they're all dry, then kind of like look at them with fresh eyes and see if there's any last minute things. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the watercolor picture I did the other day, which was also like kind of a figure uh, piece, like some like a not just a face. Um, that one, the next day when I came back to revisit it, I'm like, oh man, the eye's a little bit off. Like the iris isn't lined up with the other one, so I fixed that. The nose was off, so I fixed that. There's like a lot of different features that you don't notice until you kind of come back to it. So I do recommend that. So that's probably like if I'm going to give some advice, I do recommend doing, the first draft, right? So it's like you're writing a book or something, or like an essay or whatever. So you do the first draft, let it marinate. Let it sit for a little bit. Hey, Lorraine, how's it going? I was just mentioning your couch, and like your couch is so much better than this couch. So this couch is just like a boring, bland, um, like I don't know what they call it, like a pin cushion couch. I don't know what they call it, but a little couch with buttons and stuff like that. I like the leather couch better. Anyway, as I was saying, I do think there's some value in just like letting it sit for a while, like see how you feel about it the next day. On this piece, I do know I am going to add some more details. Like I do think I'm going to add some prints, like a floral print to her dress, just so that you really know that it's a dress. Um, am I concerned about that tonight? No, probably not. Um, but I have no idea. It's kind of my point. So like my point is I won't know until I come back and look at it in the morning what I'm inspired to do. Um, last picture I did, Lorraine had the great suggestion of adding like a pendant to the picture. I had never thought about that, but it made perfect sense. And guess what? I think it made the picture. Let's see. I still have that one actually. I'll go ahead and show it. Like, I think this one turned out great, right? So that pendant, I think, really makes it. I didn't think to put that pendant in there, but some of the other things, like while I'm talking about it, is this pupil here wasn't all the way down to the bottom of the thing, so I had to fix that, and then the nose was a little bit off. I had to move that. Those are all things I thought of the next day, and then of course it dried a little bit differently than I would have thought. That's always the case with watercolor. So I came back and kind of reinforced some stuff and finished things up. But anyway, the whole point is, especially with watercolor, you don't really know how it's going to dry. Um, so I do think that trying to get it all done in one sitting is kind of like a losing battle when it comes to watercolor. I think you should let it sit overnight. My sole goal is just to have something that looks good in the thumbnail so I can put it up and I don't have to say something like part one or part whatever, because like it does look sort of finished. It doesn't have to look perfect, but I want it to look sort of finished. So, Lorraine, thank you for sending me your address, by the way, so that I can get those your doggo out to you. I was planning on sending it today, and I looked everywhere for that, and I'm like, I lost it. I think I think it was like in one of my Gmails that I deleted it or something, and but now I've got it, so I can send that out to you tomorrow morning. I'll send you some tracking info. But yeah, I'm so happy. Let's see, what else can I put in here? Or what low hanging fruit can I take care of now? I think some of these details, oh, you're more than welcome, Lorraine. She's got the best dogs, and the kitties that I did of hers was like a lot of fun as well. Like those are adorable cats. I got to get back to doing some more pet pictures. Oh, you know what? I didn't finish her hand. She's got a whole hand over here that I do kind of want to add some detail to. Maybe not right now, but her hand comes out here. Yeah. All right. So now at this point, I'm going to go back to my little my little liner brush, which it seems to be my favorite tool here, and start working on some more details because I do enjoy doing the details. Those are the time-consuming things that are just fun. Jodie Co Jodie Comer. I am not familiar with who that is. Is that like an actress or a singer or if you guys don't mind, I'll probably do more of these. These are kind of fun. It's definitely a different thing for me to be drawing like the full body instead of just a face. I'm so used to just drawing faces. Um, you know, if you guys aren't going to get bored by it, I'd like to do like maybe some action, like comic book style, like action pictures, things like that, just for fun. I'll probably splice in there, my typical pet portraits, which I really enjoy doing. But these are kind of fun for me. She's an actress. Oh, Killing Eve. Okay, yeah. So that's something I haven't seen yet, but that's been on my list. Um, who else is in that? Sandra Oh, I think. I don't know. I like I like these kind of like poses too. So like this feels like it'd be out of a fashion magazine or something like that. Very very glamorous, I guess. Mm. Yeah, I think I'm at the point where it's probably something that I should let sit overnight and kind of figure it out. What time is it? Uh, Maybe I'll give it like 15 more minutes or something. But I'm running out of things to tinker with without really evaluating it, And I do feel like that evaluation is after it's dried and, you see if anything needs to be. Yeah, I think that would be cool, Lazello. Yeah, Sandra Oh is funny. Like I like Sandra Oh. Like I'm probably one of the only dudes that used to watch Grey's Anatomy, and I liked her on that. You watch whatever was on. I make no excuses. But yeah, so like yeah, like a magazine cover. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I think this particular picture was like in a set of bridal photos and stuff that was like shared online. I don't know. I usually get reference arts from the most random places. The best place to get reference art or like reference photos, sorry, to draw paint or draw off of is um what is the place? Well, there's Pexels. That's a good one. They're like royalty free photos that you can just grab. They don't cost any money. You can do whatever you want to with them. And then the other one was Unsplash. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, escape my mind for a moment. Unsplash would be cool to as a place to grab pictures. They don't care what you do with them. These are photos uploaded by photographers, just like artists draw things for themselves. Sometimes photographers do the same thing. They're just trying to get their name out there. So if you ever have like, creativity block and you're looking for something to draw or paint or something, go there. Draw from nature or draw from things you see. That's ultimately my goal. I'm mostly practicing so that I can go out and draw the world around me. I want to go to the pub and just draw my beer or something. A little bit of fringe on this cushion here. Need some more water. Thank you. Thank you, Marvel. I appreciate that. I don't know if I agree with you, but I appreciate you saying it. I feel like it needs some more details, but I'm not willing to put those in until like it's dried a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's good enough. It's so hard to judge your own stuff. It's not my job to judge my work. It's my job to judge your work. It's your job to judge my work. There you go. So whatever you say goes with my work, and then I will critique your work. Does that sound fair? Because I don't know if this is any good or not. Like I'm too close to it. Kind of like my one I did on Tuesday better. Just because like I don't know the colors were more vibrant. I feel like the colors are a little bit muted here, but maybe I could do something about that. But I'm sorry. So I don't know like what makes a good floral print. I want some blues in that. I'm gonna try to add some floral stuff. Uh, might be a bit much. I think it needs to be lighter. Or some white. I don't want like, oh, that's a bit much. I hate wasting paint. I put too much white on it. So that's what I got. A big clump of white paint for no reason. All right, so I'm going to switch to a larger brush. And what I want to do is take this blue. So this is the stuff I enjoy, by the way, lately. I am she's more beautiful than Cinderella, and she smells like pine needles and has the face of sunshine. So I am actually enjoying mixing paint. You know, like where you take this like really dark blue and then you add some white to it and you get this super light one. That's a lot of fun. Cat at the door. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of hint at some flowers. I don't know. This is probably where I screw it up, but you know, I can always fix it later. It's kind of a big mess of flowers going. Now, of course, like by adding this blue anywhere I have shadow, I need to create like a darker blue and so on. I want to go crazy with this flower stuff. And then also the flowers have to kind of like follow the folds. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but at least it's different, breaking up the dress a little bit. I could just give her a blue dress, but I feel like that would be wrong. So this pattern here isn't going to stick. I just want to kind of get like a bit of it going now, and then once that dries, I'll come back and probably add some more to it. Let's see, because what I want to do is kind of come up, back over it with some like white, but gotta let it dry first and stuff. I don't know. I'm not a fashion designer, guys. I'm literally making up floral prints. But we'll let that dry and then I'll come back over it with some white and kind of make it seem a little bit more interesting than it looks right now. But some leaves going here. I don't know. I don't buy women's dresses, so I don't know what they look like. We'll make this look all right though. Get the paintbrush out of the way. But I do like mixing the colors. So, like I said earlier, maybe I'll do like a stream. Like, well, I'm not in my like bathroom, so I'm definitely not copying off my shower curtain. But maybe I've got like wallpaper on the wall or something. You know what? I wish I had this as a shower curtain. This is very nice. So up here, I kind of made a mistake of not doing like folds here. So I'm going to leave that kind of like a little bit bare and worry about that a little bit later on. So generic flowers, obviously, it doesn't take very much to do. It's just kind of like some scribble, but I'll add some detail to it. But it's just basic foliage. That's a tough word. Now it kind of looks like a little bit of a summer dress. I'm kind of glad I did this, but I'm making more work for myself because I do have to come back with white over this. Like I don't even own a Hawaiian shirt. Like I feel like I should get a Hawaiian shirt so that I know what floral prints look like. Because what's the difference between a floral dress and a Hawaiian shirt? Let's be honest. It's the same thing. It's the same. It's probably the same material. This is one of the interesting and also unfortunate thing about being a an artist. You have to learn so many different things, right? So like you have to basically understand fashion, right? Why? Like who would have thought that? You have to learn like because like for example, right? So like I'm doing this girl here, right? I'm doing this girl here. What time periods are these girls from? Now, this one is definitely modern, right? Like you can probably say, I don't know, anytime, well, based on the hairstyle, probably anytime after the 80s, but who really knows? This one on the right, this is like more of a classic look. She could be anywhere from today going to a formal, or she could be, from the 1800s or something like that. So you really do, as an artist, need to understand all these different things, right? So like maybe you go off to create something. Um, I don't know. It's just interesting things to think about. It's not like I know what I'm talking about when I talk about these things, but it is interesting to think about that. Yeah, these are like the many hats that you have to wear as an artist. Like you have to know what the so like if I was drawing this girl and I wanted her to look like she's from the from today, I have to give her appropriate outfit. I have to at least have some sense of fashion to do that. You know, um, right now this could this floral gown of hers or whatever, it could be from like any time period really. Uh, I don't know, like 1950s on. I don't really know. I don't know anything about fashion, guys. Come on, man. Why are you guys judging me? Just kidding. Yeah, it's easier to draw like trees than people. That's a good point. Trees don't really go out of style. They pretty much have been the same for thousands of years. People are tough. They really are, especially when you get into like putting clothing on. You can go with like classic stuff like t-shirts and jeans, that's basically any time period. I hate showing stuff over this because I have to remember to cut that out later when I do the time lapse. Now I have to edit it. Thanks, guys. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Kind of like a little abstract floral print. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. Well, this is why you have reference art. So like the real problem is I'm kind of doing this on the fly. Um, but you can kind of look up, like you can go to Amazon.com and find a dress and use that as reference art, right? I'm just kind of thinking like, oh well, probably a floral dress would have flowers on it, and like I'm scribbling in flowers. I think they're gonna get lighter as they go down, or I guess they would have bigger leaves maybe because it's like in the forefront. I don't want a lot of detail in these things. I don't want a lot. So there's a couple of reasons why I don't want a lot of detail in it. I should mention that. One is I'm lazy, and two, like I literally don't want to draw it. And two, the argument I can make for it is that I really shouldn't have too much detail because it like distracts from the rest of the piece, right? So like anything that so there's a couple of ways to move people's eyes through your art work. One is contrast, right? So like contrast is created in multiple different ways. You can create contrast with color, right? So if you have two contrasting colors, that's contrast. And depending on how you do that, you can actually move somebody's eyes from one area to another of contrast, right? So like for example, the shadow on this side, that contrast between the light and stuff, it directs your eyes as you move over her face. Um, but another way to create contrast is between, things that you do add a lot of detail to. And yeah, I'm not sure if I saw the reference picture. Um, I'll have to go back and see that. I kind of caught the end of it, and I haven't had a chance to go back and watch the full thing. But yeah, it's fine to divert. You're supposed to divert. You're supposed to make it your own. Anyway, so like contrast, um, can help move somebody's eyes through. So like contrast can come in the form of color. It can come in the form of shadows and lights and so on, but it can also come in the form of level of detail, right? So there's a lot more detail in this face. So that's where your eyes are drawn to. So if you put a lot of detail in the face, and then you also come down here and put a lot of detail in the dress, your eyes get confused. You don't really know where to go. These are not concepts that I learned because I went to art school or anything. These are concepts I know from being like a web developer. Like there's a lot of focus spent on how to drive people's eyes to the right buttons, for example, um, so that like the website's more user friendly. Uh, Little things like that. It's the same concept between commercial art and I don't know, fine art. I wouldn't call this fine art, but you see what I'm saying. All right, so I'm just going to kind of come in over this with some white, try to maybe clean this up a little bit, fix some of my mistakes, make them look more like petals. I don't know. This may not actually fix them, but it's at least put dots in the middle of them. Like these are the saddest looking daisies in the world. Oh well. So this is one of those things that like, you know, it's not so bad, but I feel like it can be fixed up a little bit, but I don't really know how to fix it up. Might just leave it, um, or like let it sit overnight. But this is the part that would be used for the thumbnail, so I'm happy with that. I can worry about the other stuff later, or just crop it out when I'm working on it. You want to buy this dress? Well, it only comes in ultra small. It only comes in 9 by 12. At this point, I'm just using up this white because I feel bad that I wasted so much white. I'm very like conservative when it comes to my paint usage. Like I don't want to waste paint. Like those people who who do the art where they get the big gallons of paint and they just kind of throw it at the wall and stuff and make these abstract pieces. It looked really awesome. I'm like, man, what a waste. I could get at least 500 pictures out of that bucket of paint you just threw on the wall. All right, so if you want to learn marble, like I've seen you do, the stuff where you're like talking about how to draw like a figure, and you've got the stick, and you add, like the stick figure, and then you add like, shapes to it and stuff like that. It's kind of the same thing. So like, well, here, right? So like, get yourself one of these guys. This guy isn't just for like laying around, right? So like, if you take this guy, right? And these are cheap, right? You can get them pretty cheap, but and there's other ways to do this. Like you can get like a 3D model or something like that, or you can just learn to draw like this. But basically, you're like, okay, so she's going to be like sitting on a couch, right? She's going to be kind of leaning like, well, let me get it underneath the camera. So she's going to be like leaning like that as she's sitting on the couch. But then, unless she's like sitting like this, she's going to be kind of off to the side, right? So see what that does to the abdomen here? It kind of bunches it up, right? So like you're kind of forcing all that internal gunk together, right? And then like where's her legs going? Well, she wants to drape her legs off here, and then they kind of come down off the side and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe they're crossed or something, but and then like, her hands off to the side here. This looks great to me. Maybe it looks better to you guys like that. Okay. And then she's got her hand up. So you can, well, this isn't fully posable, but you can get some that are, but basically, that's kind of the deal, right? See, that's basically your shape. So now you look at this and like, how do I draw that? Well, the line that comes down, right, is going to diverge off, and then you get this like little bit here. And what's that going to do to the clothing? Well, you can see the shadows in here. You see that like it creates folds and so on. So you don't really need reference art to do all that, you know. Um, it helps to have the reference art because you can just look, or reference photo, you can just look at the picture and see the folds in the dress and stuff. But even without that, you can imagine what the folds are going to look like if you know basic, anatomy. You have like the rib cage, you have the abdomen, you have the pelvis, you have the legs coming off of it like that. What does that do? Like, even if she wasn't wearing a dress, you can still imagine how it causes the skin to be on the body. But with the dress on, what's it going to do to the folds of that dress? How's it gonna affect the light and so on? Anyway, um, no, I didn't go to art school, but like you can see that in nature. You can look at how somebody sits in a chair and kind of like you probably don't want to be staring at this girl too long if you're a guy, but you can be at a coffee shop and see somebody sitting in a chair and just imagine what's going on inside of like their skeletal system and the bone and like the muscles and bones in their body and stuff, and how that causes like, there's a reason you can see like, you know like the different creases and shadows in here. The t-shirt probably was designed like this, but because I have my arms down, it creates these creases and folds in my shirt. It's just nature. That's how it works. um Being an artist is more about like, I mean, I I don't know. I feel like I speak in generalities and stuff like that, and like some of these probably don't hold up, but um, one could say that like, drawing pictures is half skill and half actually being able to represent the person. The other half is observation. You have to be able to see things, and it doesn't matter if you're looking at somebody in person or if you're looking at a photo of them. It's the same deal. You have to be, there's a reason why I'm a fan of like Sherlock Holmes. There's this great quote where he tells Watson, "You see, but you do not observe." Right. So like whenever we go out and we're going about our daily affairs, we see the stuff around us. We're not, well, unless you're blind, but most of us see the world around us. But it's a totally different thing to actually observe something, right? So like I see this girl on the paper, but I observe how her body shapes the folds of her dress, if that makes sense. Oh, there you go, ballerina Barbie. That would have worked. Anyway, so you have to get in the habit of observing the world around you, is my point. Is my lesson for today. You know, the Bob Ross lesson for today. I don't like these flowers. I don't think I did a good job on this floral dress, but it is what it is. I'll like it kind of looks a little muddy, but I'll think about how I can fix that. Maybe fix it up tomorrow or something, or just kind of crop it out when I do my short. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this. I think the face looks good. I like the colors. I like the shadows. Um, Not bad for my second attempt at watercolor portrait stuff. This is pretty cool. Moving on. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. All right, so let me see if there's any last minute things I can do. I can't really fix that dress. I'll have to worry about that tomorrow. There is one thing I want to do. So, real quick, and then I'm probably gonna hop off and put my dogs out and call it a night, let you guys go. By the way, when I let you guys go, it's not because I don't appreciate you guys. It's just because I got other things to do and I want to be respectful of your time. Um, I do really appreciate you guys coming in and watching me. Like I know you have a lot of options and things you can be doing on a Friday night. I think it's awesome that you guys hang out with me. But I wanted to put some more folds into her dress because this part through here kind of comes down and it kind of folds around, and I missed that when I was doing it earlier. So even so, as an artist, even as you're working from like a reference photo or you're working from life or whatever, like you're doing a live drawing, which is really what I would like to do. I would like to eventually, actually sit with people and like have them be a model and let me paint them in real time and stuff like that. That would be awesome. But before then, it's still the same process. So you're like you are observing these things and like I'm making observations from the referencing that I'm translating over to the thing. It's definitely a two-part process there. And the observation part of it is no small part of that process. Um, there's also, like dealing with proportions and mapping and so on. So like I see it in one place and I map it to the other, sometimes not very successfully, but at least I try. At least I'm aware that that's part of what's going on. Like I am doing a mapping, you know. I see it here and I'm mapping it to this picture. Let me get some of this white off of this. See, my favorite Barbie. Really have no option. Don't feel special, Jeremy. I don't feel special. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're about done here. Get more of a curve there. This might sound strange coming from a random, don't know, but you're one of the sweetest people on YouTube. Hey, I appreciate that. Hopefully you're talking to me. I try to be nice. I try to be respectful, like honestly, like I think everybody deserves respect. Plus, it's hard to criticize people, um, because like we're all at different stages. We all have different things going on. I don't know. I don't get into like politics or like religion or any of the things that usually set people off. Just try to live my life and mind my own business and stay out of people's way and draw pretty pictures. It's pretty easy. So I do think that there's some other areas that I can go a little bit lighter. Hold on. Every time I say I'm gonna hop off, I think of like little other things to do. So what I'm hearing from you guys is that that I need to get a Barbie doll to use as a model. That'd be hilarious. You guys need to go and check out Lazello's stream. I think it is kind of cool that she was able to get that going and everything. I mean, look, guys, if you haven't done a live stream yet, you don't know. It is weird. It is so weird. It's odd to put yourself out there, and I think it's awesome that Lazello is doing it. I'm proud of everybody who does it because it's totally different. It's one thing to create videos, it's one thing to create pictures. It's totally a different thing to actually hop on like a live stream and stuff. Just because, like, I mean, what's it? Yeah, so we're coming up at 3 hours, so I definitely gonna have to cut it off. But just for my own sanity. But yeah, so like, imagine having to talk for 3 hours, right? And literally you have no idea what you're going to be um, talking about, right? So like tonight, I had no idea what we're going to be talking about, and you literally have to like be able to come up with stuff on the fly, respond to things that other people like. I don't even control the conversation. You guys do. You bring up something, we talk about it. Like you guys last week, Trusted Living was in here talking about aliens, and I think it was Trusted Living. But anyway, so guess what? We're talking about aliens that night. I mean, I don't get to pick it. I mean, I could sit there and say like, look, guys, let's not talk about that or whatever. But I don't. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Um, it's also very hard when you have no idea how your painting's going to go. Like, I mean, sometimes I create pretty bad pictures. Hopefully not as often as I could, but sometimes it happens. All right, so there are some details. So I want to finish up this hand, but I'm not even going to attempt it tonight. This hand can use some more details. She's actually wearing a ring. I'm not going to do that tonight. This is a good stopping point, I think. Well, Lazello, yours was not that bad. I know that you're probably nervous about it being your first one, but I think you nailed it, so don't worry about it. You did great. I want to watch the Barbie movie. I just got what you said there, Miwu. Yeah, I'm down to watch the Barbie movie. I might go do that tomorrow. Like, I don't know what to expect, but I feel like it's probably in the same genre as like um, Free Guy with crap, what's his name? The Deadpool guy, Ryan Reynolds. I feel like it's that kind of movie, and I enjoyed that kind of movie, so I think it'll be cool. I'll go and watch. I'll watch the Barbie movie. All right. I just love you guys' comment. See, I kind of feel bad because you guys are actually having a good time here. I mean, he's not a Barbie fan. Look, I'm comfortable in my masculinity enough to say that I am a Barbie fan. I am not ashamed to say that. There's nothing wrong with Barbie. I was more of a G.I. Joe guy growing up and everything, but there's nothing wrong with Barbie. Anybody can, you know, Barbie, there's nothing wrong with Barbie's cool. Who doesn't like Barbie? Plus, the movie looks like it's fun. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and watch Barbie so I can report back and let you guys know if it was any good. How's that? I can't stop tinkering with this picture. Anyway, all right, so I am gonna call it short because I've got dogs and I gotta put them out. So hate to break up the conversation, but I am gonna call it. Hopefully you guys appreciated this work. Again, I am not an expert on watercolor. There's probably some things I could have done differently. Probably shouldn't take 3 hours to do this picture, but I'm still getting comfortable with it. You know, right there. Yeah, we're getting comfortable with watercolor. But if you guys enjoyed it, I appreciate it. If you, I think most of you guys already subscribed, but if you haven't, feel free to subscribe. Let's see, go back to this. All right, so yeah, Bear wanted to say hi. Say hi to the people. They're over here. You see it? Over here. I bet you if I put a dog treat over there, you're like, she's putting up her paw. Look at that. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna call it, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed this picture. I'll probably be back Tuesday if I don't create something before then. I'll definitely put up a time lapse of this once I sort out that those extra details and that floral print that I'm not too happy with. I'll try to figure that out. But if not, you know, it's still fun. It's a fun picture. So I'll be back Tuesday. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Go and watch that Barbie movie because I'm gonna, and we're gonna talk about it next time. So till then, you guys have a good one. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next weekend. And hey, Lorraine. Yeah, I forgot you were in there. Yeah, Bear. Lorraine says hi. Guinness. Okay, you're too short. Guinness, jump up here. Jump up here and say hi. There we go. Like I said. See. All right. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye. Where's my button here?